Mic check. 1, 2, 3. Mic check. 1, 2, 3. All right, my sound is good. Welcome everybody to Automation Monday. Today is Monday, June 25th, 2018. Today we have some good topics to speak about today. Few topics that ranges from the world's tiniest computer to face recognition to AI competition, self-driving vehicles, blockchain, AI and blockchain, and Stanford University. We have somewhat of a full slate for you all tonight. Like I say, we have a couple topics to speak about tonight. Uh, Give it one couple more minutes for everyone to come in. Those who will join us. Um, Last week Friday we had a very good show. As you all know, Friday is Economics Friday, Money Making Friday. We had a very good show. We normally have good shows on Fridays. We normally have good shows every day. Wednesdays are very good. Geopolitics Wednesday, or As the World Turns Wednesday. And Monday we talk about automation, AI, artificial intelligence, blockchain, and anything dealing with computers and technology. So Automation Monday. Give it a few more minutes so people can come in. Up, how you doing, Mike?
Hey, what's going on, brother?
I'm well. Yourself?
Good.
All right. So we may as well get this thing started. Let's see here. Do share my screen. All right. Our first our first topic is from Engadget. This is from June 23rd by John Fingus. World's tiniest computer makes a grain of rice seem massive. Wow. All right. I like the photo. All right. You don't think scientists would let IBM, world's smallest computer, boast go unchallenged, do you? Sure enough, University of Michigan has produced a temperature sensing computer measuring zero point zero 0.04 cubic milliliters, or about a tenth the size of IBM's former record setter. It's so small that one grain of rice seems gigantic in comparison, and it's so sensitive that its transmission LED could instigate currents in its circuits. The size limitations forced researchers to get creative to reduce the effects of light. They switched from diodes to switched capacitors and had to fight the relative increase in electrical noise that comes from running on a device that uses so little power. The result is a sensor that can measure changes in extremely small regions, like a group of cells in your body. Scientists have suspected that tumors are slightly hotter than healthy tissue, but it's been difficult to verify this until now. The minuscule device could check both this claim and, if it proves true, gauge the effectiveness of cancer treatments. The team also envisions this helping to diagnose glaucoma from inside the eye, monitor biochemical processes, and even study tiny snails. Why why the air quotes around computer then? The tiny size is leading the university to question what a computer is. This does have a full-fledged processor based on an ARM Cortex MO Plus design, but it loses all data when it loses power, just like IBM's device. that might be a deal breaker for people who expect a computer to be more complete. Still, this pushes the limits of computing power and suggests that nearly invisible computing may be relatively commonplace before long. This is interesting. Um, how can they get something that small and still be a computer?
So the only thing that really makes up a computer is the processing capability, right? So you don't really need a big motherboard or a hard drive and all this other stuff that you typically see in a personal computer. So this is a tiny computer that only has just the processing power and just the communications capability, and they've miniaturized it to the point where they got the bare minimum what they needed.
And it's that small.
And your
That's
body generates enough electricity as you walk to actually keep it going.
wow. Okay, okay. And this is some sci-fi stuff that we're about to get into. Your body generates enough electricity to power it. Now, what other than what they said it can be used for to detect tumorous cells, what else can it be used for? Can be used to link um, broken uh, cells or broken my words escape me, but can't what else can it be used for?
There'll be a variety of things such as high blood pressure, you know, insulin drops and spikes and things of that nature. If you ever seen there's a recent movie that came out in theaters called Upgrade, and they did something
Uh,
very similar. Did you see that?
I know what you're talking about. I haven't seen it, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's a great movie. It's low budget, but it's great. And they practice that very same concept where they take the miniaturized or the nano-sized computer and put it in the guy's neck so that he can get up and walk out of the wheelchair. Just
Mm,
phenomenal technology that they were using.
yeah,
And this is like 20 years into the future.
that's what I was going to ask. What I was going to ask, can it reconnect um, torn cell? And I keep saying, I keep want to say cells. I don't want to say cells. The word
I mean,
is
the nerves.
escaping my mind. Yeah, in order for a person to walk again or do some type of motion again, such as I'm thinking not only people in wheelchairs but sports injuries and things of that nature. Now let me ask you this:
Hmm.
not only can it be pre-programmed, but can it be programmed once reprogrammed once it's already in your body to um, do another function?
I would with capability, so your the amount of space available to write instructions to each and every tiny computer, it would be limited, right?
Mm.
So you'll probably just have to go purchase another one, which is how they'll probably generate their revenue. Uh, the way how I see it is that everybody will just be one walking computer, right? You have millions of people, that's millions of computers. You imagine how far they can go with the technology where they'll start kids off from birth with these sort of nano computers, tiny computers in their body, and use these people to generate cryptocurrencies for every step they take and how many miles they put in a day, how many flights of stairs they take, how active they are, things of that nature that you'll probably see happen in the future.
Now, granted, okay, so a lot of the things can be gamified. Okay, now I granted as much good this can do, I understand people will use it for negative for bad. Um, okay, so you have these in your body, and once they do what they were programmed to be done to get done, then what? Do they exit your body? Do they take them back out?
They'll take it back out. It's a pretty simple concept. Same thing as a pacemaker.
Okay.
But
Okay.
if you haven't seen that movie Upgrade, and anybody who's watching this, you have to see it first in order to understand this sort of technology, because that's exactly where the movie got it from.
I'm gonna put that on my things to do. To do.
Mhm.
I like stuff like this. As a matter of fact, I actually rewatched the remake of Total Recall
What's the name of it?
because of the technology in terms of the cars, the buildings, things like that. I like that. So I like movies like this. Now, have you seen Altered Carbon on Netflix?
I actually have not. Actually, have not. But MIT. I was at MIT some time back, and they had the capability back then. The students came up with a capability to program these, not so much of an exoskeleton, but a prosthetic limb,
Hmm.
and they were able to connect it to the neural links in your arm, in your arm, in order to use it for functionality. So if you wanted to hold something in your hand with full grip or make a fist, that prosthetic limb, that programmable prosthetic limb, was able to actually do that based on what you were thinking in your brain.
Ooh, now this I like this. I like
And
stuff like this.
there's actually a brother at
Hmm.
Northeastern University here who's a PhD candidate, um, or student, who's working on something very similar to this right now. I have to look up his name later on in the hangout, at the end of the hangout, and I'll post it. But he's a brother, and he's working on something very similar for his PhD.
Yes, yes, understood. Yes, I would like to know that name. Um, I'm continuing looking at the picture, and I understand this is the grain of salt, and that is that is unbelievably small. That's 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 impressive. That's the most word I can say impressive.
Well, think about the size of your brain, right? They say that humans only use at least 10% of their brain
Hmm.
to function. Why do you have to have a an organ so big but to do so little?
Maybe we are meant to progress to the point that we're able to use 100% of our brain. Uh, just throwing it out there.
But what they're working on, well, what I'm saying is what they're working on now are these technological assistants being implanted into your body that helps you think faster, um, react better to certain situations. I know um, China was working on something very similar. And I think I forget which company in the United States was working on it. I want to say it was IBM Health, but they were working on something very similar. Basically, like a Google Assistant for your brain,
Hmm. You
where instead of,
go ahead.
no, I was going to say that instead of having to look think, because you had that processor, that assistant processor.
Okay. And you ever seen the movie Lucy, where she
Yes.
injected the blue stuff and it enabled her to use brain, and as she used more and more her brain, she became more and more powerful.
Hmm.
Hmm. I like this.
Adaptive learning.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yes. 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 I'm glad you. It was on tip of my tongue. I couldn't get it out. Okay. All right. Anything? Any other points on this? Yeah. If you get his name, I'll post his. I'll leave his name in the description box.
I'm looking for it right now.
Okay.
I don't have anything else though.
All right. We have a few YouTube video. Oh, let me close this. A few YouTube videos. Now I saw this one. This is a really short video. Um, facial recognition at airports. Name of the video is "Facial Recognition Speeds Up Chinese Airports." So like I said, it's a short one. From what I can tell from the video, he tapped his ID card and the turnstile looking device. It copied and read his ID. Then he went to this freestanding uh, device where it saw his face, captured his face. So now he's going through security where he actually can see the writing on the screen. He's going through security. And as he goes through security, it he matches it the picture that they already took of him. And at the end of the video, it said this process is 98% accurate compared to the human, which is 70% accurate. That is that I agree do speed up airport lines. Then you have to also ask, can it be, this is new technology, can it be a fooled or something? But as taking it as it is, its face value, I do agree that it's pretty quick. It was pretty quick. You got in there pretty quick. Now that's minus the TSA though. Any points on this?
Yeah, I see this. I see this being big in terms of global travel, right? So you have these global IDs or these global passports that would allow you to just walk from airport to, or not walk from airport to airport, but to um, go from airport to airport in these fast lanes, sort of sort of setups. And if everybody is verified through this authentication system, you imagine that the delays that you see at airports right now would be cut in half. And most of your delays that are usually happening is because somebody didn't take off their shoes, you got to take off your belt, you got to do all these ridiculous things that don't make any sense. That's not really stopping terrorism.
Yeah, yeah. I remember when I go through TSA, and they'll stop me and they'll wipe me down, and then my chair they'll wipe it, wipe it down the chair. See, see if I'm carrying something now. And then they ask me, well, what's this? What's this? What's this? What? It's just different small parts of my chair that say, what's this? I'm like, well, that's the the arm ready. That's ain't too much I can really say, but yeah, it's like when you go through the TSA, it's so compact, and then they got these little bitty areas on the side where they can pick you off and say, well, you come with me, we're gonna give you more of a full body scan, and if you go in, you forget your belt buckle, you got to go through it again, which holds up the line. And not only that, but people are standing there taking off their shoes, taking off their socks, taking the loose change out of their pocket, putting in these big blue or gray buckets through. Oh my goodness.
And yet they still can't stop terrorism. All of that, and they still can't stop it.
No, they can't.
What a stupid practice.
Hey, I was I was in Miami, so I smoked a cigar, but the residue, like the smoke residue, was on my hands. So they take, I don't know what taking it and wipe your hands and put it in the sensor. So it came back that it was similar. The guy said it was similar to bomb residue. So I'm like, okay, well, I couldn't just say with the truth where I smoked a cigar. It's easy to say. So they did a further search and let me through. About little stuff like that. That it could be anything. Me, I was just smoking a cigar because I was in Miami. I felt let me immerse myself in this whole vacation, and that entailed holding up the security line. But yeah,
Yeah, it's very cumbersome, and kind of turns off people from traveling. Because they don't do the same TSA checks on Greyhound and Amtrak and things of that nature. They don't do all that. So if you're really trying to stop terrorism, why are you only stopping at the air but not at the ground? It doesn't make any sense.
yeah.
But this whole process that China has is, I don't see how you can go wrong with it. Um, I see countries that have borders, that border each other, especially landlocked countries like the DRC, um,
Uganda.
some of your Central American countries where you have immigration traveling back and forth. That can become very useful.
Mm-hmm. And it's quick. Like we just said, we looking at the video, are replaying it. It's quick. You got
Hmm.
your ID. Show your ID. Let the camera see you. Go to the securities. If you match, you match, and boom, it's like a 1, 2, 3 step process. And it says its accuracy is around 98%. Yeah, hmm. I'm with it, man. I'm with it.
Yeah, that's dope.
Let's go to the next point. The next one. Let me make sure that nobody else is coming in. All right. Now this, I'll even mute before I play it. This I saw AI competition between U.S. and China underway. Excuse me, at WWDC, Apple's little convention. I saw it. There was some good points made. One person made the point that they don't think it'll be. They mentioned the words of Putin. The person said they don't think it'll be one person leading the race in the future. They don't think it'll be a couple countries leading the race. But then toward the end of the video, the guy pointed out that yeah, even though America may has started early in the automation in the artificial intelligence area, even though they started earlier, China has more people, which can produce more data, and in the long run, China will be the place that will be the country that will be leading in this that's the Putin leading in artificial intelligence, and also he pointed out China as a country is more receptive to artificial intelligence. That's what I got from it. How about you?
Yeah, I'm in agreement with that. Because China is coming into um when I'm referring to the millennials are coming into the technology realm, from birth, right? So
Mm,
China was pretty poor back in the 60s and 70s, but they've made, if they lifted 100 million people out of poverty by 2003, 2004.
mm,
Now, most of these people are being developed from grade school on the technology, and as well as the artificial intelligence when they get into high school and college. So it's almost a part of their daily life on how they live. Because if you look up the system called WeChat,
yeah, I
WeChat is
saw
how
that.
they pay
Yeah,
for everything. It's how they
yeah,
pay for
yeah.
everything. Yeah. So it's
I
all it's all integrated into their life. Whereas in the United States, you're kind of your low income people don't have access to the technology because they can't afford it, and the school systems are broken, so they're kind of left behind in this digital divide.
I saw a video about their the thing was called Eatbox, and it was in the mall, and they were using Amazon's idea of a cashierless grocery store, and this it was in the mall. It was this I would say a freestanding building type. I'll have to. look at the video, but it was in a. Oh God, I'll have to look at the video. But it was. I'm trying to find it while I'm trying to explain. I know I'm a butcher, but people, if people were hungry in the mall, instead of going to the food court, they would go to. Come on now. They can go to this place and they use WeChat. So they had to have a WeChat account, and they will look up first shopping experience in China, unmanned retail store. Okay, they will look up at the camera, and they will do it'll be facial recognition, and then it will recognize and know if you had a WeChat account or not. If you did have a WeChat account, it would tell you right then and there you need to get a WeChat account before you enter this store. So then a person obviously would get a WeChat account in order to enter the store. Let me share my screen. I found it again. Okay. Come out. Where you at? There you go. Okay. Eatbox. Yeah. Expand this. But yeah. Okay. Right here. She's scanned a barcode, and it's going to tell her that she needs to get a WeChat account. So she signed up for it. She signed up for it, and after that, trying to skip forward. After she got her account, she looked up at the camera, and it recognized her, so it let her into the store. And in order for you to enter the store, it's two doors. The other door has to be closed before you go in, so not a lot of people can join you, I guess. But once you're in there, you can pick up anything you want. The items has RFID. Has RFID in them. This guy right here is telling them how it works. Each item has an RFID, and they're trying to see what happens if you don't pay for the item. If you don't pay for the item, you can enter this door, but once you enter this little area, it'll recognize you and let you know, because there's a checkout machine, self-checkout machine there, and say, hey, you haven't paid for this. We're not going to let you leave. So it finally, little checkout area right there, finally lets them leave once they check out everything. But yeah, I forgot how I got on this talk about. Yeah, that's how it is.
We were talking about China embracing technology in a different way that the United States does, and how they use WeChat, to function. They don't use cash. So the type of door setup and entry setup and or I should say ingress and egress, it's called a man trap. So you get in and it verifies you. If it doesn't verify, you get stuck in there. It's called a man trap.
Gotcha. Yeah, I saw that today, right before we started. And I thought it's pretty interesting. Okay. Yeah, but AI. Okay, now this one right here. I'm muted. I keep forgetting to mute it. Chinese companies come to Silicon Valley for self-driving tests. In the video, their self-driving cars look more advanced. Not the cars itself, but how it operated. It looked more advanced than what I've seen in videos in American self-driving cars. Now, in the video, they were saying because they're having a hard time hiring people to work on this technology, companies are, because not a lot of people are in this field. That's really the biggest thing I got from the video. That comment right there. Oh, WeChat right there. Bam. You got any points on this one? Look, I'm eating the apple and working on the phone. Okay. Yes, this why I say it looks more their setup looks more advanced than ours. It could be probably the same technology. I specifically don't know. Mike, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, yeah, but yeah, they were saying that they're having a hard time filling positions in this AI automation field because there's not a lot of people that working at field.
Well, there's not a lot of people that work in the field primarily because there's not a lot of education.
True.
Right? So that's where, these little edx.org. That's why I tell black men, got to stop majoring in STEM.
Got to
You
start
got free
majoring in STEM.
classes. Yeah, you got free
Okay.
classes. You don't have to pay for anything. Blockchain, the whole technology and everything, the programs are set out for you. So now there's really no excuse. You can't say, well, I can't afford to go to, you know, University of Illinois or these other D1 schools like Harvard and Yale and whatnot. Well, you have access to the education now.
Hey, I'm glad you told me about EDS because I don't think I knew about it. But now that you told me, hey, I signed up for 2 classes. I saw that
Hmm.
blockchain. I said, hey, I'm with it. I'm with it. Especially the price point. Oh my goodness, you can't beat that with a stick.
Right, and you're just paying for the paper certificate just to verify that
Hmm.
that you did pass the class. But this is a field that's going to be here for the next 100 years. So
Automation,
you can't
artificial
go wrong.
intelligence.
Well, autonomous driving, driverless
Okay,
vehicles.
okay. Thomas driving.
Just that field in alone. If you go on Ford's career website, they can't find enough um, IT people for this.
This is amazing. This is like the gold rush. It's not enough people to work here, and the whole world is getting into it. So as soon as you get the certificate and let people know, hey, I got the certificate, and plus other things, you got a job. You got a
You
job
got
somewhere
a
in that
career,
company.
not a job.
Yes, a career. I like that. I like that. I like that.
A, a job,
Yes.
yeah, a job is something that's temporary. A career is something that you that stays with you. So
Mhm. I like that. This is amazing. And I hate, I don't, I, I'm not going to say it, but it is hardish to get people to understand that, hey, you can do this because a lot of times what people think, oh, they automatically say, oh, I can't do that. They'll automatically say that, oh, I can't do that. I'm not into, I don't have the mind for technology or that. And a lot of times, and I'll tell them, well, you can train your mind to do this. Just get into it and continuously get into it. The thing you're doing now, you wasn't born to into that knowledge. What if you're doing that? It took you time to learn it. So it's the same thing. It's gonna take you. It's a learning curve. It's gonna take you time to learn it. And yeah,
no, well, you know what it is a fair factor for just technology. The technophobes, right? They hate automation, they hate artificial intelligence, they hate cryptocurrencies, they hate anything that involves thinking on a deeper level. And it it keeps a lot of African Americans from getting involved in more importantly, black men, because they don't want to entrench themselves in this sort of new world. Because they're so accustomed to having paper money, and you see the rappers in these Instagram photos where they're holding stacks of money to their ears. Well,
mm.
with cryptocurrency, you ain't holding nothing to your ear. That goes right into your damn phone.
But your phone, you already doing that. I like, yeah, man. See, I like, yeah. I like how you put that. You don't. It's not a job. You got a career for the next 20 because we moved into a gig economy. People gonna be like you said. People gonna be working 2 or 3 different jobs just to make it.
Right, and holding 2 or 3 different currency assets, to do business. You got to speak another language now. Mandarin is going to be a language that black people are going to have to learn.
Mm. Now, let me ask you this. Now that we looking at this video from what's the CCTNC CCGN, and then you mentioned that where where can I learn Mandarin? That's not Rosetta Stone because I tried Rosetta Stone and it didn't work out too much.
I know Dragon Actually Speaking is supposed to be pretty good. I haven't used it recently, but it's supposed to be pretty good. I think the company's called Nuance. I think that's the name of it.
Nuance. Okay, so they'll speak to you. You can almost hold a somewhat of a conversation in Mandarin.
It's dictatorial, so I think there's like a headset set up for you and whatnot. I haven't used it in quite some time. It's supposed to be profoundly better than what it was before. So
Gotcha. So okay, Mandarin. We already know English. What about no? I'm not gonna say French. What about Spanish?
Mandarin is the only thing that really matters at this point. And if you want to throw in Russian, you could throw in Russian from a geopolitical standpoint. You can probably throw that in there. But Russian is so hard. It requires like 3,000 hours of
Yeah, I
of
heard
actual
that.
study time.
I heard Russian is one of the top languages, one of the top difficult languages to learn.
Because there's
You will
32
almost
letters in the alphabet.
I will have to live there to get a better. I've heard that multiple times. Russian.
Yeah, they have too many letters in their alphabet. We only have 26 in ours. They have 32 in theirs.
Russian. But right now, Mandarin. Okay, now is it Mandarin pretty hard?
It is.
Well,
But that's whoever. It really goes by. It really goes by whoever manages your banking system will be the language that you actually have to learn. So everybody speaks English because everything goes to Wall Street in London. So at one point people had to speak French, right? I mean, that's how you got Creole in Haiti and in French in African states. So
okay,
even in the Middle East, you still have French speaking
yeah, like Tunisia
pockets.
Yeah. Well, Tunisia is African. Oh, okay, yeah.
Syria.
So okay.
Syria, Lebanon.
French, but right now, at this moment in history, Mandarin. Okay, well, let's bring up some more articles. Yeah, that's about the base. That's the main thing I got from that one was in the future, you need more people to man these posts, and I thought that was very interesting.
You would think that the Detroit auto workers who used to put bumpers and whatnot on these cars and these dashboards on cars, you would think they would have picked up another skill at some point before the market crashed. But a lot of these guys are just didn't bother changing their careers, and they got old, and they got you have what they call ageism. So they basically are discriminating against you based on your age. If you're over 45 years old, you can forget about getting a call back from anybody.
Let me hurry up. This is from Cointelegraph by again Molly Jane. I don't pick these articles just because she's writing them. It just happens that she's writing them. Molly Jane Zuckerman is June 20th. Chairman of Korean gaming giant predicts use of blockchain in all industries in the future. The chairman The chairman of Netmarble, one of the largest South Korean gaming companies, believes that blockchain technology will soon be applied across all industries. Local news outlet eDaily reports June 20. Netmarble reported revenue of 1.5 trillion won, about 1.35 billion in 2016, with a market cap of 12.86 trillion won, or 11.59 billion. During the ninth annual strategy forum held in Seoul, Chairman Bong Joon uh, responded to a college student's question about the future of blockchain and business with an optimistic prediction for blockchain's use. Blockchain with objectivity, reliability, and security will be applied to all industries in the future. When asked if blockchain's current popularity was a bubble, the chairman then compared the innovation of blockchain with that of the internet. The internet was not a bubble. The internet has made all industries convenient, i.e., blockchain. It's not a bubble because there are people who have invested in Bitcoin. It is a bubble for those who do not know, but an opportunity for those who know. Bang Jong-hoik continued with his comparison, noting that since blockchain is in its nascency, taking advantage of the technology could bring success similar to the internet entrepreneurs of the 1980s. Wow. It seems that this time comes once every 10 years. Now we are expecting blockchain. South Korea's central bank has begun exploring the idea of using blockchain in order to achieve their aim of a cashless society by 2020. That's a year and a half away. Furthermore, the South Korean government announced a new positive direction for their cryptocurrency and blockchain legislation at the end of May, when they announced a plan to make initial coin offerings legal again. All right, this see like sitting up here with you all and reading on this channel and reading stuff like this is why I changed to get into blockchain because I'm seeing yes, it's not it even though it's synonymous with cryptocurrency, it's not cryptocurrency. And if you look at the technology itself, it can be applied to a lot of industries that will help those industries become more efficient. That's just my opinion.
I'm in agreement with your opinion. I think anything that moves, any items that move, any people that move, things that have mobility will require some form of mechanism, such as blockchain or something with smart contracts, um, to properly identify and reduce the number of loss prevention, as well as counterfeiting. You think about big companies like Louis Vuitton and Coach, and who get knocked off by these Taiwanese,
Mhm.
Vietnamese, Chinese knockoffs. Um, Essentially, blockchain would actually put a stop to all that stuff. It would cut out all those bootleggers who had um, made profit off of this stuff in the past of black markets. So I think what blockchain will eventually do is just completely destroy the black market, maybe create a gray market, and make the white market more profitable.
Now imagine corrupt countries when you out before blockchain when you establish blockchain in the government different sectors of government or in assets of corrupt countries, it can really cut down on that corruption. Hmm, I like this. That's this is just one log, one additional log on the bonfire of me going into blockchain. That's that's just me. Any other points on this one?
No, I'm good.
All right, let's move on. All right, this is from Cointelegraph, excuse me, .com from June 20th. And this one is by William Suberg, U.S. fourth largest mobile provider. partners on automotive blockchain. Did I read that right? U.S. fourth largest mobile provider partners on automotive blockchain platform. The U.S. fourth largest mobile network operator Sprint has partnered with blockchain startup NXM Labs to launch a 5G connected car platform powered by blockchain technology. The companies confirmed June 20. Sprint, which served 54 million customers as of October 2017, will use the platform in its LTE network to provide passengers with mobile Wi Fi, vehicle health monitoring, and what is described as the world's first blockchain powered Internet of Things security system that guards against that's like tech on top of tech on top of tech. Okay, through the power of blockchain technology, NXM provides an advanced level of security and advanced capabilities to vehicles that might not otherwise have it, even extending Wi Fi. Ivo Rook, Senior Vice President of IoT for Sprint, said in an accompanying press conference. The partnership furthers blockchain's entry into the increasingly automated car industry, bringing Smart and NXM alongside extant projects from the likes of IOTA and manufacturers including Mercedes and Volkswagen. A joint industry initiative dubbed MOBI has received participation from BMW, Ford, Bosch, Hyperledger, and more. In addition to its core offerings, the platform will offer services such as parking space location and where gas costs the least. Wow, okay. Multiple vehicles will also be able to connect to each other. I'm looking at this additional parking space location and stuff can is going to be a paid service. But also it said, what was it? This platform will include a mobile Wi-Fi, which is 5G, it said, vehicle vehicle health monitoring, and what it describes as the world's first blockchain powered Internet of Things security system. So you got blockchain, Internet of Things, and security coupled with um, driverless vehicles. What do you think of it? Goodness.
It's not uncommon to have multiple layers of technology on top of each other that work in concert to function. So uh, if you think about cell phones or smartphones for that matter, you think about the multiple layers of technology that make the smartphone actually work. You have the software that goes on top of the phone. You have the carrier, which is your cell phone provider. You have multiple applications that allow you to check your email and do instant messaging and so on and so forth, as well as the biometric portion of it that allows you to unlock the phone.
That's amazing, man. But and as I was reading that, I'm looking like that all the fields we literally just talked about are is in that one package. This one company is packaging all those fields of this burgeoning technology and selling it to larger companies, which just solidifies the statement you even more, the statement you just made, where automation, artificial intelligence, and blockchain, automated vehicles is the future. These are careers. It's just solidified that even more, and it's just one company. Okay, let me get the other. This thing is on the trick now. Okay, all right. This is from Cointelegraph again. We got another one by William Suberg. Okay. I see you, William. All right, Samsung marries blockchain, AI, and Celo 3.0 logistics platform. They just coming back and forth, man, back and forth. All right. South Korean electronics giant Samsung revealed a further blockchain implementation in an official announcement June 20, using the technology in a new logistics platform. The platform, dubbed Celo 3.0, is a brainchild of Samsung's IT subsidiary Samsung SDS, which will use artificial intelligence (AI) and its logistic know-how to deliver a press release to deliver it, a press release states. We will provide services to global e-commerce sellers with Cello Square 3.0, which combines cutting-edge IT with Samsung SDS global logistics operation experience. Kim Hwang Tae, Vice President of the Logistics Business Division of Samsung SDS, commented, Cello is just the latest project to surface from SDS's blockchain experiment. The company earlier this month announcing a blockchain finance platform, Next Finance. Within the logistics sphere, multiple operators are also leveraging the technology to improve safety, efficiency, and cost amongst them DHL and FedEx. By applying a blockchain technology that cannot be modified or stolen, hmm, it will prove the international cargo's origin and increase the reliability of the product. I like that. The seller release, meanwhile, explains SES adding it also expected similar time and cost saving benefits. The release schedule for Cello, meanwhile, remains unknown. And I like they use this. I know what movie that's from. Um, Again, what you just said. They just said what you just said. It will almost destroy the black market, create a gray market, and produce more trust in the white market. And in this paragraph, it says, by applying a blockchain technology that cannot be modified or stolen, it will prove the international cargo's origin and increase the reliability of the product. This they saying it. They saying they these articles are backing up our words. Anything on it?
No, it's inevitable that this is going to happen, and you're probably going to see these sort of attempts to discredit, the technology by attacking it. So you will see more nuanced attacks against the blockchain to cause disruption in authenticating goods and services. So I guess from a cybersecurity standpoint, you would have to come up with alternative mechanisms, for high availability in order to keep the system up and going. Because the first thing they're going to do is try to attack either the endpoint or some of the infrastructure that's involved that keeps the blockchain in relevance.
So security will be a big business in the future also.
Security is a big business now, but security
Mm.
will be a function of the business.
Function of the bit. I got you. This is good news, man. Good, great news. Great news. All right. From Cointelegraph again. This one is from Darren Pollock. Driving, man. These they coming back and forth, man. But what we just said, it's just these are solidifying what we just saying. Driving blockchain forward. Automotive advances with blockchain technology. The automotive industry is regarded as one of the more cutting edge sectors that often leads the way for new technologies such as artificial intelligence and autonomous systems. Blockchain is being seen as one such technology and is in and it is in unsurprising and it is unsurprising that the industry is immersing itself in the new space. Car manufacturers have been quietly picking up on the blockchain phenomenon, trying to figure out different ways in which they can utilize the immutable ledger to their different needs. For example, on June 11, IOTA and Volkswagen demonstrated a proof of concept that uses IOTA's Tangle system for autonomous cars. This is just one application of blockchain technology in the automotive industry. So, while it is not all self driving cars and space age applications, there are already the likes of BMW who are using blockchain to track the cobalt they use in manufacturing to ensure ethical mining. The scope of applications for blockchain can range from something as simple as BMW's logistics to Volkswagen's autonomous car and everything in between as the automotive industry continues to push for more use cases of the technology entering the space. There is a long list of ways in which the automotive technology can leverage blockchain, and some of those uses are starting to be snapped up and attempted by the bigger manufacturers. Porsche, BMW, and Mercedes made news earlier this year as they began putting the blockchain to test. BMW has its Cobalt ledger. Mercedes introduced its safe driving program that rewards drivers in crypto. Wow. And Porsche with its blockchain apps. I like that. But there are other but there are others following close on their heels as they try and corner the blockchain market for the automotive industry. In fact, it is not just blockchain for cars. Some well known manufacturers are driving the blockchain adoption alongside the likes of BMW and Bosch. In fact, Bosch is one of the leading companies in the race for autonomous car patents. As of July 2017, Bosch held what? 958 patents, way ahead of second place Audi with 512. Furthermore, the Bosch with Bosch playing an active role in blockchain promotion in its role at the Mobility Open Blockchain Initiative, the future of automobile and blockchain technology seems more linked than ever before, and shows who leads the autonomous driving patent race: Bosch, Audi, Continental, Ford, GM, BMW, Volkswagen, excuse me, Toyota, Volkswagen, Daimler, and Google. Okay.
It's actually pronounced Daimler.
Oh, Daimler. Okay, Daimler. I saw Google there. Okay. What you want to say something about that?
No, I was just going to say that Google is involved because they have a vested interest in self-driving vehicles because they want to provide the technology as well as the operating systems and the data as well. You know,
Oh,
because they
okay,
have
okay.
Google Maps and Waze.
Yeah, yeah. True, true, true. Mobility Open Blockchain Initiative. BM, BMW, Ford, Renault, and General Motors are among the 30 companies in Mobi. Founding members also include IBM, Bosch, and Blockchain at Berkeley, student-run organization at UC Berkeley aimed at promoting blockchain. I likes that. Mobi was formed on May 2 when four leading automobile manufacturers launched a joint venture with the help of those additional 30 company, I'm assuming it's supposed to be 30. The group's mission is to speed up the adoption of blockchain in train transportation, as well as to make sure the industry is on the same page with use cases ranging from autonomous payments to ride sharing, according to Mobi's website. Click on that there. All right. The blockchain adoption wave is making its way through a number of major sectors, from banks, corporations, even governments. But as Brian Kelly, founder and CEO of digital asset investment firm Brian Kelly Capital Management, says, the automotive industry adds a new battleground for blockchain. This is a tectonic shift in the tech landscape that has the potential to disrupt the growth pains of legacy tech into the auto. Building use cases. The automotive use cases making the news thus far have focused predominantly around BMW, with its blockchain party aimed at producing ethically sourced cobalt. Porsche and its blockchain-based apps, which include locking and unlocking the vehicle, authorizing temporary access, and Daimler AG, for, famous for its Mercedes-Benz smart brands, who are launching their own cryptocurrency called MobiCoin to reward good drivers. These companies have started putting out tangible blockchain uses and are now being followed by Volkswagen and IOTA with their autonomous proof of concept. However, there are other instances, ranging back to 2016, of automobile companies looking to leverage the blockchain. Toyota and the block Toyota and blockchain supply chain management. In 2016, Toyota Financial Services joined R3CEV Consortium. In the long term, Toyota is expected to leverage blockchain technology for automotive supply chain management and connected car systems. Toyota Financial Services is expected to join the R3CEV consortium to advance the use of distributed ledger technology in finance, said Chris Ballinger, CEO and Global Chief Officer of Strategic Innovation at Toyota. We believe this technology will ultimately lower costs, increase efficiency, and make auto finance more transparent for our customers. We're not moving in the blockchain space already. Renault have been looking at the blockchain for car passports for some time. The current method of storing information about customers and their vehicles is spread across a whole host of different information systems maintained by automakers, insurers, repair shops, and more. But Renault is looking at to consolidate that information with the power of blockchain technology. Additionally, RCI Bank, owned by Renault, joined the R3CEV consortium as well. RCI Bank specializes in providing automotive finance services to Renault and Nissan Group companies. Blockchain technology, which can be likened to a ledger that is unfalsifiable and secure, is seen as a way to simplify banking infrastructure and other use cases for the benefit of the customer. It also has the potential to reinforce the security and integrity of systems while reducing processing and transaction costs, thus further benefiting banks and their customers alike. RCI Bank said in a statement explaining the benefit of blockchain for the company. E-wallet for German car parts manufacturer. ZF Fried, Friedrichshafen AG, a German car parts manufacturer, partnered with UBS and the Energy Innovation Hub to develop the blockchain-based car e-wallet to facilitate online payments. The e-wallet is built on a blockchain to ensure security. The use of this e-wallet is said to be used as payment systems that make it possible to pay for electronic car charging, for example. Additionally, the solution is said to be able to handle many other mobility-related payments, such as highway tolls, parking fees, or car sharing. The range of uses indicates that blockchain technology can be applied in multiple ways when it comes to manufacturing of cars. The science fiction sounding IOTA autonomous car might be the most interesting, but supply chain, vehicle tracking, and smart manufacturing are already being tested and utilized more than just a proof of concept. Blockchain in the automotive industry. By looking into just 6 areas where the automotive industry is starting to use blockchain, one can get a sense as to how powerful this technology can be in driving the manufacturing of cars forward. Ride sharing services. From mobility solution, which include ride-sharing services and autonomous systems, blockchain technology can put a big dent in the monopoly that companies like Uber have over shared taxi services. Furthermore, as Uber may not be looking into blockchain technology, there is even opportunity for a decentralized system to make inroads into the model that something like Uber has set up. Having a company that has complete control over everything that happens inside its system, and it takes its conditions for working with contractors, gives it the opportunity to abuse its powers. With its current business policy, Uber is a structure that cannot work without centralized power. These are already being seen as in 2015, an Israeli company, Lazuz, utilized a decentralized transportation platform, and the following year, a company called Productive Edge implemented a proof of concept for a smart contract taxi service. I like that. Manufacturing. Smart manufacturing is also a big area that can help the automotive industry. Blockchain can be leveraged just like in any other level in manufacturing. But because of the complex nature of automobile building, it can drive forward things like supply chain traceability and inventory management. Supply chain. There is also general supply chain management, which is a large part of car manufacturing, and the tiniest and expensive part as well. This area of manufacturing can be taken over by an effective blockchain, as can insurance claim processing for that matter. As explained above, the passport of a car is already being tested by Renault, but the entire title transfer, vehicle tracking, retailing, and leasing of cars can all be put onto the blockchain. Uh, I forgot one more. For the present to the future. Problems of the present are already being addressed by car manufacturers utilizing the blockchain. They are using the technology for supply chain and car passports. But even more fascinating is the future of automobiles is getting an upgrade thanks to blockchain technology. Volkswagen's proof of concept for an autonomous car using IOTA is a window into the automobile industry of tomorrow that is being built on technology that is only just now being that's only just now beginning to be fully utilized and understood. Now I know that was a long article, and throughout the article they were saying the different ways, the many different ways blockchain technology can be used in car manufacturing, not only from the beginning but throughout the car's life. That was a lot of ways blockchain can be used throughout car manufacturing. Whew.
Right. They're looking at a life cycle development in terms of how do you secure your manufacturing portion, your supply chain portion, um, as well as the driver aspect as well. Especially when it comes to autonomous driving, right? So if there's nobody behind the wheel, or if it's a level 5 vehicle where there is no wheel, you need to be able to authenticate that this car is the actual thing on the road, and not some rogue device that has been stolen or being misused for malicious purposes.
Hmm. And they also said they can use blockchain to see where the cobalt is coming from. They can use the blockchain to put the life cycle of, like you just said, life cycle of the car. So when the title is transferred, you can see if the car's been in any accidents or any other things that will deter you from purchasing the car. And it's trusted. They also mentioned smart contract taxi cabs. That that's one of them things that I would not have thought of, that people use the technology and they impress you on the the many ways that it can be used. Hmm. Smart contract taxi cabs. That's awesome right there, man. That's awesome.
I'm not sure if that's going to be necessary in the future when you have things like Arcade City that Ulysses has talked about in the past.
Hmm.
Um, and then you start factoring that people just won't even need to have a vehicle anymore, so to speak. I mean, unless you're wealthy, you just buy whatever vehicle you want. But if you're on the lower end of the income scale, a vehicle may become more of a inconvenience than it would be of a benefit to you to own. So
Mm-hmm.
um,
And we'll see, man.
you may see
Yeah.
more ride sharing programs that take place instead of, especially with the way Chicago's metro system is, how
Oh man.
antiquated and how old it is. Somebody else can step in and just take over the whole entire come up with an alternative metro system and say, well, for those of you who want better, we have a better system. It's smaller and more efficient, and we can reap the benefits of it through
Like
blockchain.
like Elon Musk's Boring Company.
Not necessarily that. I think that's more of a cross country. I think that's more of a cross country thing for Hyperloop. But when you're talking about riding above ground, uh, those trains are 35, 40 years. Some of those trains are older than the people that are actually riding them.
Yeah,
So it's like, I mean, if you're not spending the money on improving the system, what are you spending the money on from a legal, from a politician's perspective?
man, that's another hangout, man. Oh man.
Right.
Um, any other points on that with the blockchain and the automotive industry?
No, it ties in well with the previous article that we spoke about with artificial intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
It's an actual career, and this is something that I think a lot of brothers should get into.
Yeah, and I try to tell people about this. I try, and I understand they equate blockchain with cryptocurrency, and I try to tell them, well, it's not the chain, it's not the same. That's just the technology that drives cryptocurrency is separate, but I think they make a decision to believe the news or people that they see every day on TV that tells them, oh, because they say blockchain and cryptocurrency, so they're putting them together, and then they will believe a single person. So, but I still try. I still try to tell them, well, it's not the same. And even when I hear people talking about it, when I say when you get the same old thing. Oh, they'll lose their money in that in their blockchain. Well, I said, well, it's not the same. I tried to tell them, but it's at times it could be a fight, but you still need to tell them, bro.
So you can do.
Yeah, that's all you can do. All right. Now this is the last article that I got for the day. Let me make sure. Okay. This is from ccn.com. Bitcoin Education from June 23. Class in session. Stanford University establishes Blockchain Research Center. Okay. Stanford University's Computer Science Department has established a Center for Blockchain Research to promote the study of and develop best practices for this nascent technological field. Unveiled on Wednesday, the Center for Blockchain Research is a 5-year research program that has been underwritten by a variety of cryptocurrency organizations, including the Ethereum Foundation, Protocol Labs, Amise Go, Definity Stiftung, the Interchain Foundation, and cryptocurrency hedge fund Polychain Capital. The center will be led by computer science professors Dan Boneh and David Mazire- Mazires. Other inaugural facility will include computer scientists Alex Aiken, David Deal, John Mitchell, Tim Roger, Rogarden, and law school professor Joe Grunfest. Blockchains will become increasingly critical to doing business globally, said Bonet. The Rajiv Matwani professor in the School of Engineering at Stanford and an expert on cryptography and computer security. Stanford should be at the forefront of efforts to improve, apply, and understand the many ripple effects of this technology. Blockchain massively lowers the barrier to creating tradable digital assets, added Mazares. It allows individuals who don't know each other or even trust one another to make irreversible transactions in a whole variety of fields in a safe and secure way. In addition to blockchain research, Central Facility in addition to blockchain research, Central Facility will coordinate to develop courses on blockchain technology that can be offered to students even after the conclusion of the 5 year program. This is a fascinating area of research with deep scientific questions, says Bonnet. Once you get into the details, you quickly realize that this area will generate many PhD theses across all of computer science and beyond. As CCN reported, San Francisco based cryptocurrency startup Ripple has committed to donating 50 million to support blockchain education at 17 universities. Hooyah. Last month, EOS creator Block One donated 3 million to Virginia Tech's College of Engineering to promote blockchain research. Block One CTO Dan Larimer, a Virginia Tech alumnus, will advise the department on curriculum development and will also teach some live classroom sessions. I'm gonna let you go with this one, man.
I just find that interesting. Now they're, I guess now your cryptos starting to lobby their way into institutions now in order to get support.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and to me, if a crypto is only good if it's backed by some sort of a resource that it could be paired with, whether it's
Mm-hmm.
oil or gold or silver or zinc or some other precious metal, water for that matter. I can see water being huge in the future, probably in the next 5 years or so, because of some of the droughts that you see in Africa, especially in the Middle East too, where it's mostly desert and water is very scarce out there, especially in places like Syria and Lebanon. Um, I don't know. There's so many cryptos on the market. Um, I just wonder if um, some of these cryptos will have a very short lifespan, and the ones that actually have anything meaningful to say or meaningful to contribute will actually be the ones that stand out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering why some of these universities aren't utilizing cryptocurrencies as well. Whether it's for paying for credits, for students, students who need to catch up, or students who may be ahead, who graduate early, reward them with some kind of token based currency for that matter. There's so many ways I guess you could use it in an institution like that, but I don't know.
To me, I find it. I I like that it's showing that they are researching blockchain and they're taking it serious, and it shows other people that okay, this is serious. And like I just said, people synonymize. I don't think that's a word, but they pair blockchain with cryptocurrency. So a person may think, oh, they're taking blockchain serious, so they may automatically think cryptocurrency is serious. This is my thinking. That I could be wrong. I'm just thinking out loud. The especially other cryptocurrencies has, like you said, they gave money. They lobbied in a type of way to universities to create research centers to discuss, the different ways to implement blockchain. And I'm pretty sure these cryptocurrencies are gonna keep a close ear on the different ways blockchain can be implemented. So they can then take advantage of the new ways to implement blockchain if it applies to them.
Well, that gets free labor for them, intellectual labor
Mm.
for the cryptocurrency companies who largely need the help but don't want to pay for it. I think I watched Max Kaiser the other day, and they were talking about how there's only like 7 or 8 people at one of these crypto startups, and they can't afford to hire more people because they're still a startup. A startup is basically a company that hasn't generated any revenue um, yet. Um, and that usually happens
Hmm.
in the first 2 or 3 years. But if you go to these nice institutions, these nice brick and mortar schools who have a lot of students who have the wherewithal to do the research, and you don't have to pay them all that much. Yeah, that sounds really good for a cryptocurrency company.
Yeah, yeah. Man, to be honest, that's all I got for today, man. People like y'all from Jersey today. Man,
We'll give you these.
oh
I
yeah.
see Dollar Bills there.
I don't know if they gonna join. I know Dog Will probably looking from the side. I don't know if Ulysses gonna join or not. Let's see. Let me see if check if he's still in here. Nah, he not in here. I'm trying to look for another something else. I got something that says Freedom of Press Foundation starts accepting crypto and sees 550K donation on the first day. Eh. Then I have something that says Dash, the cryptocurrency Dash Embassy, DACH houses in Vienna opened their second physical outlet. So Dash Dash is really, I think that's like number 10 cryptocurrency. They have physical brick and mortar houses where people can um, if you hold Dash or even interested in Dash, you can go to these community meetups, these community meetings. And one of I know what it just said. One of the houses is Vienna. I don't know what the other houses are. It's probably in Switzerland or Sweden or something like that. But those aren't really the main articles I got.
Now your blockchain program starts what, next week?
Yeah, June. No, not June. I say June. July 6th. July 6th. No, July 6th is July 8th. I mean, ninth. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I got an email earlier from EDX talking about 15 new programs had started.
Oh
And I
yeah,
think
yeah.
blockchain.
Yeah, I get those emails too. I haven't got anything saying it started. Still in July. But okay, with that certificate, the trying to let me go online to know the exact name of that certificate. It is blockchain fundamentals, Berkeley. Okay. The name of the certificate. Yeah, of course they don't want to tell me. Start the professional view courses. Okay, the professional certificate. Let's see. Um, Professional certificate. Trying to see the name. Okay, with that professional certificate, what can it be used for in terms trying to word the question correctly? What can I use it? What can I do with it?
So the purpose of a professional certificate is to verify that you continued your education. So that's really what a professional certificate does. Is just basically it's a verification of continuing adult education. Um, it's not a degree, but it's close to that of a degree. I mean, a degree
Hmm.
will require you to take all your basic math and English and other rudimentary classes. I think we're moving away from that sort of archaic system of do you know trigonometry or do you know Shakespeare or anything like that. Nobody really cares about that anymore in the STEM field.
Mm-hmm.
So I think more certificates are going to start to take place of these big oversized degrees, you know, that have gender studies and things of that nature. Nobody really cares about that. As far as
Mm-hmm.
I'm concerned, I don't care about that. If you had a background in networking, like if you had an associate's in networking plus these certificates, that would make your LinkedIn look really, really beefy, right? Because
Uh-huh.
it's not so much of it's not so much about what institution you went to, but more about what you know before that. Because there are a lot of guys who went to you know not so much as Harvard, but some of these other schools like um, some of these other Division 2, Division 3 schools, and they still can't get the job done. You know, or they're still out of work. You know, so it doesn't really matter.
Okay. Because okay, and I saw the videos, and I understand they were saying that not too many people are in these fields to begin with. So you have these career positions that are opening. It's a shortage of people. So I'm
Mhm.
getting into the blockchain aspect. Was that someone? Or was that me? Okay, I'm
That's you.
okay. I'm getting to the blockchain aspect. And we just read the different things blockchain can be used for, such as the automotive, and you have the smart contract capability. And there's going to be more technologies that's going to be coming out in the future because this is really new. It's been around. It's been around really more than 10 years, but in terms of mainstream, less than 10 years. So as it goes, yeah, I am getting the leg up because I'm going. I'm getting this now, getting a certificate now, and there's other classes come out on EDX and other sites that helps you, that gives you a certificate to let people know, hey, you have completed this. Man, it's like you said, it makes your
And
LinkedIn
you
look
never left
beefy.
your house.
Ooh, right? And you know what? I didn't think of that one. I didn't. But like you said, it makes your LinkedIn look beefy. It's like, wow, this guy did all this. Wow, this guy is superb. Let's hire him. And I can imagine how much these people that are on these projects getting paid when they know not too many people have the skills to do this.
Well, the venture, well, I shouldn't say venture capitalists, but whoever's running these companies are going to pay for the skill set. Um, and a lot of these companies who are in the United States don't want to actually have to hire somebody from India or hire somebody from, um, what do you call that?
Pakistan or China and all that.
Well, no, the more the British speaking countries where there's a
Okay.
dialect, right? There's a strong dialect that makes it difficult for them to have any sort of meaningful conversation sometimes. That's one of the reasons why Dell had to pull their resources out of India
Oh my God.
from the support standpoint because you couldn't understand what the person on the side of the phone was saying. Plus, there's a time difference, there's cultural differences, and how people work and ethics. Um, it's just now is a good time to get in because you can finish
Mhm.
that that certificate in less than a year, and walk away with so much knowledge filled and be ready to utilize it. See, the ability for me, right, is to be able to have a conversation because I can comprehend the technology.
Mhm.
So I don't have to know everything. I just need to be able to hold a conversation. Once I can hold a conversation, I can figure out everything else on my own,
Gotcha.
all the intricate details. So when we have these hangouts like geopolitics and economics and automation, um, it's not that I know everything, right? But I'm absorbing at least 4 hours of content a day. I'm not always looking at the TV or my tablet. I'm just letting it play in the background, and I'm absorbing all of the dialogue that's happening, and then I'm putting all the pieces together.
Yeah, because I, truthfully honest, I learned a lot, and just what you said. Some pieces you'll hear one piece, and then you hear another piece, and out the blue they just connect. And I've
Right.
learned truthfully a lot. Just with these hangouts, I learned a lot. And when I go on YouTube and look at the little short news reels from uh, Press TV or these other places, they say, oh, one was Yemen shoot missiles. The fighters in Yemen, the Houthis, I guess, they shoot missiles to Riyadh. I'm like, okay, I I know what that's about, you know. So
Hmm.
I'm able to understand why they're doing it, not just hear it, but why they're doing it, and I'm able to think of a few reasons as to why they may have done it, this or why they may have done that. So I'm gaining a lot of knowledge. Hey, I'm with you on that one.
Now the next move after you finish your certificate is to start networking on the ground
Mm-hmm.
and networking through LinkedIn, right? Because networking it pays off big time in this sort of field. So you go out and you go to a conference in Chicago or something to that effect, whether it's a blockchain event or um, data science, artificial intelligence. Those things happen multiple times in a year, so you can always find an event to go to. And you just go there and shake hands with people. That's all. That's what it's really all about. Is oh hey, I'm Lionel, and I just finished a blockchain program, and now there's a conversation, right? 'Cause now they're gonna try to pick your brain to see how much you really know.
Mm, I like this. Because I I understand the importance of LinkedIn. You know, it's like a social media for professionals. You know, and I really want to get that hooked up. You know, mine is pretty anemic to say. And with these, I can get it hooked up. And I'm not just gonna take these classes, get this certificate, and just chill. Nah, it's like you said, it's continuing education. It's continual learning curves.
Right, and that's the whole purpose of these conferences. Like I said earlier, is that when you attend these conferences, you also get a piece of paper that says that you spent 4 or 5 hours or 16 hours, whatever it is, attending this event, and these are what they call CEUs, continuing education units or continuing education credits. So those credits are good for the year, right? Until you need until you unless you need to apply it to like your certificate. So for me, my security certifications, I have to keep them up to date. I have to do at least 20 to 25 continuing education credits over the 3 years, over 2 to 3 years. So I have to get them signed off and verified and things of that nature when I attend these events or whenever I do some volunteer work.
Okay. Now
And
I know. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, and the more people that I meet, the first thing they want to do is, oh, what's your LinkedIn contact? So then we become friends, and come to find out that this guy knows another guy who's looking for a blockchain analyst. And because I'm friends with Lionel, and Lionel just got finished doing his program certificate, these guys are, looking at Lionel's profile now.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. I like that. Cause that's what I'm saying. Cause and I I know conferences happen. I know these type of workshops happen. But what I did not know was the extent at which they were important. That I did not know. And I'll just honestly say that. Now,
Mhm.
like I previously said, I wasn't, I haven't been networking and speaking to a lot of men that were, professional, know what they doing. It was mainly by the seat of your pants type of deal. Now I'm understanding. Now I'm able to connect the dots more to build my foundation more. And now I'm really glad I've ran into you all to you all. Now I understand. Now I'm able to, hey, you offer me something. Hopefully I can offer some other you and the other fella something to of significance to help you all build your foundation even more, even bigger. And I like this. I like things like this.
Keep in mind that you're a black man, right? We're black, so
Hmm.
we stick out when we go to these events, and so people are gonna remember your face almost off the rip. Oh, I saw that guy Lionel at the blockchain conference. A good guy, you should look him up on LinkedIn, and next thing you know, everybody's talking about you because you showed up, you put in the amount of effort, you engaged in conversation, um, you knew all the current events because that's what you do every week. You're paying attention to the market, so your ability to jump in and interject into certain conversations is going to make you stand out even more.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. You have a working knowledge of what's going on. You, like you said, you're able to hold a conversation, and in the conversation, you are able to show your proficiency or basic working knowledge of what's going on. You're not just there like a deer in the headlights and just somebody asks you a question, you give a put off answer. They think in their head, well, this person don't know what you're talking about.
It's a
Hey,
mini
I
interview. It, it's a preliminary interview basically. So when they need to go look for somebody, they're gonna remember that guy Lionel. Yeah, that guy was at the conference in Chicago, and he really spoke truth to power about the charts. He broke out a chart in front of me with his tablet, and he showed me what a candlestick looks like. Those guys don't know all that. They're not paying attention to that. All they pay attention to is the coding and the policies that go into some of the technology, but they don't actually pay attention to the charts.
mm,
So if you can whip out a chart in their face and say, "This is what the market is doing," and this is how much this is where you should be investing at this point, and um, this is how we can use blockchain, and we can use blockchain to eradicate um, some of the poverty that's happening around some of these neighborhoods, and the white guy would probably scratch his head and say, "This little nigger is pretty
yeah,
smart."
right. Yeah, you know what you're talking about. Let me look more into this.
Hmm.
Hey, hey, to get off topic a little bit, it still has something to do with technology, the space thing. Um, I like space. I'm interested in space. Uh, man,
You mean beyond the expanse?
yeah, 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 yes, beyond the experience, like the whole, the binary star systems, the Sirius B, Alpha Centauri, that I'm interested, and that is where technology is just going to blow, to just, when I say blow up, I mean like just really expand. Once space, once space is space travel is 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 it, it, trying to go into space travel more. That's what technology is just gonna just blow up.
Right, and I think we talked about this before, but I think this is what's going to open up a lot of jobs for Black people. Um, some kind of urban space program that allows them to do um, some of the most rudimentary research as well as some of the more intermediary research that they had not seen before. Right, so how do you make things more cost efficient? That's what SpaceX gets their reputation from because they got the ability to reuse rockets to deploy satellites and payloads into space to the space station, International Space Station, and still bring that rocket down and let it land on its own and reuse that same rocket, because the rocket is very expensive to actually develop.
Mm. Okay, now we
I
got
mean,
that.
there's different ways to launch payloads in space. So they have these big 767 Boeing Dreamliners that have um, a carrier on top of the plane itself, and that flies, 80,000 square feet or 60,000 square feet into the sky, and then launches it from there, and then it flies into space at a really short distance in short time. But I mean, there's just various ways of doing it. But how do we use it? How do we utilize technology that's on the shelf to our advantage at a cost that's 1/10 or 1/5 of whatever the big guys are using?
Hmm. Now,
Like in the movie Pacific Rim, if you look at the I don't know if you ever seen that movie, but
oh yeah, I seen it. Yeah, I seen both of
in, yeah, if in Pacific Rim, they were able to create these IGOs, or whatever you want to call it, these robots that were junkyard based by being putting them together in a more salvage fashion to challenge some of these other robots that the bigger government was actually using. So
them. Hmm. Yeah, yeah. Now that I saw the second one, and I know the little girl built her little, you know, little bitty version of the Jaeger. But the big ones were, man, they were not. I'm not saying they were massive, but in the second movie, they were more responsive. They were more high tech, more advanced than the first one, and I like that. I like that visual of, hey, this is what can be done. This is the type of technology that humans can get to. And I went on a space binge on YouTube a couple weeks back, and I saw something called the Dyson Sphere, where when humans get to a certain point in advancement, they're able to harness 100% of a sun's energy by building some type of structure around, not a complete structure, but some type of structure around it to harness all the energy from the sun. And I'm like, man, I thought about that, and I thought about all the technology in between to reach up to that point. And it starts from here. The technology in which you'll be able to be fly through space like Star Wars and Han Solo. That type of stuff. That type of forethought is what I'm thinking about. Man, I like it, man. The
well,
whole. Go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say that I think it's not so much as unrealistic that humans would be flying in space at the rate that it takes to get from one planet to the next. Right, it takes at least 25,000 miles per hour to fly from Earth to Mars. A human being wouldn't be able to actually survive that sort of those sort of G forces.
Mhm.
So I think there'll have to be alternative ideals. I think you're talking like Mach 5 speed or something to that effect. Even the new Russian, these new Russian hypersonic jets that they have coming out. I think it's like the Su-60 or something to that effect. So Sukhoi. They will have no pilots inside of them. I mean, these are jets that go 15, 16,000 miles per hour.
16,000 miles per hour. And you say it takes 225,000 miles per hour to go to Mars.
It takes 25,000 miles per hour
25.
for a payload to get to Mars. So the rover that was deployed there, um, it took 25,000 miles per hour just to deliver that, and that took 6 months. Right. So it makes you wonder if it's even possible
because the faster you go, I mean, you go 50,000 miles per hour. Okay, it takes you 3 months to get there, but your body can't take that.
No, you can't, because you start breaking bones and your organs start to get fail and all that. So
Yeah, I mean, most people sitting on a roller coaster can barely go 120 miles an hour. You want them to go 25,000? I don't know about that.
yeah, you got to be another way to get there. And
Right, and I think the Chinese, the Russians, and Americans have been working on teleportation.
yeah. uh, uh, uh. Is there somebody else that's dropped in?
Yeah, man. What's up, fellows? How
What's
y'all doing,
going
man?
on? How you doing today, Nagon?
Man, I'm doing
What's going
pretty
on,
good,
Nico?
man.
Talking
Doing
about
good, man.
space.
How are you guys doing?
Good.
Oh, we're good, man. We just finished up the last segment of the hangout. This is just the open mic section.
What's up? What's up, Mike? How you doing, brother? How are you?
I'm chilling, man. Chilling.
All right. Hang on a second. I just wanted to hold on. I just want to check a couple things here. I want to hit the docket because I wanted to get in on this. Sorry for a little late. I was actually on a hangout with O'Shea. Wanted me to get on hangout with him tonight, so I was on that for a little while. I don't know if you guys knew that, but I was on that, and then I was talking with a client. I had to take care of that, and then I just wanted to get on here with you guys. So where are you guys right now as far as what are you guys talking about right at this moment?
Oh, it was
Hello?
it was open mic right now. We had hit on
Open mic,
all
okay.
the points. Yeah, we just talking about space on open mics. How space is going to bring space exploration is going to bring a lot of jobs.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure. Because the way I look at it, as far as space is concerned, I think as time goes on, not only are we going to develop, not only just satellites and everything else like that, and more equipment to view things, but
Breaking
I
up a
mean, I
little bit.
believe start happening. I don't know how long off that's going to be, but I really think that that's the next giant frontier where there's going to be a whole nother, huge, just another huge, massive growth opportunity, which I think will go on for centuries. Once we start to mine space and deal with a lot of raw materials and stuff from there, to work on the earth. I don't know if you guys have talked about that at all, have thought about it a little bit, but that's kind of where I think things are going. Um, with the space stations and all we have, I think all that's going to lead to that. I don't know that it'll be within our lifetime. I think for me, I don't know if I'll see it, but for some of you younger guys, you might get a chance to check that out.
Yeah, I know they're saying once you start to mine asteroids, asteroids has a lot of resource in them. You got water and all these other resources in them. Once you start to mine that, you can get you can almost planet in terms of the Milky Way solar system. Well,
That's
this
right.
solar system, you can planet hop, start mining those asteroids, and plus some of these larger jovial planets, they have their moons are as big as Earth. They have resources on
Absolutely, but I think we're going to go to the moon. I think the moon is going to have a lot there as well. Moon's only 230,000 miles away. I mean, we see it in 230,000 miles. It may seem like that's relatively close.
Yeah,
That's not that far. Yeah, that's not that far. I mean, I think that that's where we're going. But as far as definitely the asteroids and stuff, there's no question about it. Where there may be endless supplies of water there because a lot of water may be locked up in a lot of those asteroids and stuff that are just frozen, and you'll be able to utilize that. So I think that's definitely there's no question about it. That's just the way to go because I think we're going to exhaust a lot of stuff here. And the way we're going, I don't think we're mining stuff properly here on the earth. So I think out there will be a lot better. And I know I've heard a lot of this scientists and some scientific industrialists talk
Hello.
I think he faded out.
For something like that to happen, if you guys see that happening with, I don't know, have any idea how
Yeah, you're breaking up.
you guys are looking at this happening? And
Oh, well, the European Space Agency did launch a satellite in the minor about a year or so ago that they tried to get on one of those asteroids, and it actually failed.
yes,
The tentacles that were supposed to drop into the asteroid itself actually didn't deploy correctly. It bounced and it went off base, and it kept reporting with the batteries, the lithium batteries that it had on there. It kept reporting until the batteries died, and the batteries died because it couldn't get any sunlight to it because it was on the opposite side of the asteroid. So the attempts of actually trying to mine an asteroid is actually fairly high. They've been able to actually locate which asteroids they want to get onto and actually deploy a actual satellite and an actual miner to it. So it's a high probability that it can happen, but they just miscalculated the steps at the end. It just bounced and it lost its it lost its footing. And they also tried to send a rover to Mars as well, and it's been long suspected that the United States may have interfered with that deployment because it crashed when it got there.
Really?
So who interfered with it? You think?
They're thinking that the United States have had a hand in undermining that operation, because they said they did a lot of the research just as much as NASA did, to deploy the rover to Mars. But when they sent their device there, it didn't deploy very well. The parachutes failed and it just crashed and burned.
So they think that we may have had a handle in undermining it, huh? It's a possibility.
Right, because a Russian satellite also fell a couple of years ago, and they said that the United States may have had a hand in that as well, with the X-37 drone actually knocking it down.
It's a possibility, but I know we tried to land on Mars and stuff a couple times, and we had to send a few trips there because, quite frankly, we got to admit it. Hitting these planets, even though we have we're pretty good at at understanding certain aspects of space travel and all Isaac Newton's laws and everything else like that we utilize to space travel currently. It's still kind of hard to hit them. It's still kind of hard to hit those bitches, man. It ain't that easy. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's not that easy. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, India sent their satellite up there for 1/5 of the cost that the United States did. If you remember that one, I think they spent 60 million, and the United States spent like 700 million just to send a satellite up there. So, I mean, it's possible that we could probably get into something like that too. I assume that most of these brothers in the manosphere have some form of intelligence that would allow us to sit down and for 8 hours on a hangout and actually have a meaningful dialogue about space exploration as well as manufacturing of satellites and devices to actually get up there.
Good luck.
I hold my breath.
That.
You're right. I'm thinking the same thing when you said that.
Good luck with that.
Now, I've heard that the trillionaires will start to appear once a person people figure out how to mine asteroids because of the resources that are in them.
Yeah,
there's iridium mining asteroids.
There's not only iridium, but they're also talking about that there may be diamond and stuff like that. That's on them that are at levels that we may not have here, even on Earth. So we're talking about industrial level of diamond that might be kind of almost unbelievable. There are a lot of kind of not so much exotic stuff, but stuff that we have here that may be very plentiful out there. That not only would drive the price down, but we could use its industrial applications could be even that much greater to be harnessed there than what we have here. So it's hard to say. I mean, you start jumping on asteroids, you start looking at different types of materials that are on it. My God, there may be some things up there that we haven't seen. So and it could have applications that we hadn't really even thought about, from everything from electronics to to maybe even to more exotic type of fuels. So who knows? So yeah, I would have to say that's a totally untapped, as we know, a totally untapped resource that could, what it could potentially bring is amazing. I mean, is amazing. So yeah, that's yeah. What do you say? The next trillionaires will be made there. Yeah,
Yeah,
that would
yeah.
sound right. The trillionaires. Yeah, that would sound right. Yeah, I would have to agree
Yeah.
with you. Yeah, that sounds right.
And then you have to factor in the security aspect, right? So, okay, you mine the asteroid. Now, how do you get it back to the Earth, right?
I
So,
think it's
what's going to happen when you have nation states that are having these X-wing fighters in space? Because Trump, last week we covered that Trump was talking about building a Star Wars program, using like $150 billion or something to that effect. They know that this is going to come down to it, that they're going to have to stop battling in space instead of having tanks on the ground and water. They're talking about having, these X-wing fighter jets and, in space fighting it out.
um, you know, the whole space is so big, so wide. You think that's something worth going to war over?
I would say so. If you're talking about resources that are rare, that one nation state may be mining, let's say China may have an advantage because they have a human resource population that is twice that of the United States, that can actually facilitate these operations. And you're the United States, and you've been largely known for invading other countries. What's to say that you wouldn't invade um, another operation out in space? I mean, that's what Trump was just talking about.
Well, I mean, to me, I think you know to have to say what's rare, what we may consider to be rare may not be rare at all. I mean, in all reality, diamonds are not rare here in the world. They're under a certain level of control. But now, let's say you go into outer space, and the asteroid fields and so forth are so wide and extensive. Who could really put a claim on anything? It seems like there's so much out there that you can just go out there and just
Pick one.
find anything. I don't know. I can't see us going to war, but it doesn't make sense to me for us to do it. But maybe I could see, for political reasons, people doing it. Wouldn't make a lot of sense to me, because I think that we are looking at potential resources out there that might be almost endless for our practical purposes, and to go to war over these resources that may be very plentiful in a certain belt of in a certain part of the S. Whatever. I can't. Maybe you're right. These sick fuckers thinking like that will bring that about. But I would hope that going into outer space and mining it would actually reduce that type of those types of pressures. I would hope it would reduce it, because we might find endless supplies of stuff. And if you have an endless supply, that means everything would be, besides figuring out your cost of transportation and what it costs to bring to mine it and bring it back. Would add it, but it could be very cheap. Ultimately at the end of the day, it could be very cheap over time. So I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe you're right. Trump's talking about war and stuff like that. He's a crazy fucker. But I don't know
Trump,
if Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying that that's what Trump was proposing, but you have to remember that Reagan, going back to the Reagan era, Reagan was proposing these same ideas as well.
Star Wars.
We talking about with the SDI, with Strategic Defense Initiative. I remember that very well, of which we didn't have, and we were kind of using it as a political tool against the Russians. And in fact, it goes back to the old Russian containment kind of idea. That even goes back to, let's say, guys like George Kennan, when they wrote the X article on the containment aspects of Russia. But that was the old Soviet Union, of which as we all know, has fallen since. But that whole thing was about containing Russian power. I mean, is that applicable again today? Maybe so, but that was more Cold War politics. I don't know if we're there now. We're looking at a slightly different economic game. But I guess all that could be legit. I guess it all could. I guess it all could be. I don't know. It's difficult to prognosticate on some of that right now. But I guess we can go to war over anything. I would think. I guess we could. But space is very broad. An awful lot of resource that's there that could be endless. So for us fighting over it, militaristically to maybe, to get advantage over another country, another nation. Yeah, I guess so. I certainly would hope that we wouldn't need to do such. In fact, it would make a lot more sense if we actually all work together and mine these resources together, and maybe we could have a greater, more broader system that could actually function and help everyone out. But yeah, maybe we're not about that.
Oh, you're talking about globalism.
Yeah, I would think that outer space could potentially breed a lot of that, but maybe that's out. Maybe that's out of the question. What do you think? That's a pipe dream? Is what you're saying?
I don't think it's out of the question, but politically speaking, but I think from a industrialization standpoint, somebody's looking to profit off of this. And I don't think that mixing up multiple cultures and multiple nation states together for that one effort is going to happen. I mean, you have the International Space Station, and that's largely starting to go away on its own. Built their own space station last year, and we see how well that's working without the Americans' help. You see the Russians talking about putting bases on the moon itself by 2035, 2040.
Space what? You broke up there for a second.
Space bases.
Space bases, yes. Well,
yeah.
That's what Mir and all that was about at first. That was about really looking at how feasible and how realistic this could be, and they saw it was very possible. Yeah, I mean, space bases and all that would be great. That would certainly help in the mining operations and all that. Yeah, that would be great. Yeah, I guess you're right. I guess maybe we would be back to fighting over that stuff in outer space. That would be pretty sad, but especially with big planet, with the moon and these other places that are huge, that we don't need to be fighting over. But maybe that's our nature. I would hope that would not be the case. But
yeah, let me throw this curveball at you.
Go ahead.
Mining planets, entire planets.
That's crazy. Wow, that's crazy. Wow, that's crazy. Wow.
And that's why why we were talking about with Mars. The European Space Agency, the ESA, tried to put a rover on Mars, I think last year or something like that, and it failed. And there was a lot of suspicion that the United States may have botched that operation for them. And then you think about how many times, not how many times, but the attempts that Russia may have had to try to get to Mars first. Like they actually did get to Mars first before the United States, but they hadn't actually put an actual rover on there. How many times their rockets were sabotaged and things of that nature? So
I think it's hard to hit those planets because we launched a couple of missions and rovers to Mars, and I think we had two of them fail themselves. Where parachutes didn't open and just stuff just happens. And one of the missions just disappeared. So apparently we missed the planet. Some people are trying to say it was it was aliens and all that. Now, I laugh at some of that stuff. Not to say that maybe aliens don't exist, but I don't think it was that. I think we made mistakes. So I think it's not that easy to really just hit these planets. The Russians were on Venus before any time we were. So the Russians have been out there for a minute. I don't know. Mars is now. Aren't we planning some kind of trip to Mars in some years? Is that right? Aren't we planning?
It's supposed to be a plan. It's supposed to be a planned trip, but I don't think that's even possible under the conditions of technology that they have right now. They just don't have the capability to sustain humans at the rate of speed to Mars from Earth. And in the relative short time that they're talking. It's just not feasible.
Well,
Human beings'
they're
bodies
saying
can't handle. Right?
well, they're saying the biggest issue is is bone loss in this, and you're gonna have to be able to mimic gravity, Earth's gravity, in order to keep basically bodies from kind of like just turning to powder. So they're saying that's the biggest issue, to be able to put a device there that can mimic the gravitational kind of forces of Earth inside of the craft, to help to maintain you, because they say I think it's a 2-year trip or something like that. So,
man, to be honest, the mental stability.
Yeah, they've
Man.
tested it. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Hey, I'm gonna cut the broadcast off. So any last points before the broadcast is cut off?
No, that's it, man. I'm sorry I came in late. I really would have loved to have gotten a lot more into it, man. You seem like you guys are getting a rock and roll. But I want to say this very quickly. It would be great if we could get one of those 8-hour hangouts where we could really talk science and technology.
We can stay on after the broadcast. I'm just shutting the broadcast off.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Right.
So don't forget to come back Wednesday as the world turns. Wednesday to talk about geopolitics. So have a good one.